Hey guys, John here from Bring the SEO. Today I want to talk about what to do with clients who interfere. Now, what do I mean by clients who interfere? I'm talking about clients who basically tell you how to do your job. I've never really understood why someone would hire an expert and then essentially tell them how to do their job. But it's very common in this space, and I'm sure it's common in other industries as well. But these are the types of clients who interfere, obstruct, resist, and in many cases go as far as, even undoing the work that they've paid for. Okay, so this topic came about because I'm currently involved in a conversation with someone in one of the more popular SEO communities. His name's Michael, and he's currently facing this exact problem right now. I won't go through everything that he's pointed out. I'll give you a quick summary, but he basically says, so I've got a client who's stubbornly using outdated and damaging SEO information and outright refuses to change. For example, I'm trying to update the URL structure to a proper parent-child structure because right now everything is a mess and the URLs are all keyword stuffed. If I could implement the proper URL structure, it would look like this. And then he goes on to give examples of how it looks now and what he would like to do. The proper URL structure would look like this. I've told them multiple times that the URL structure isn't great, and what we need to do in order to make changes in an effort to get better results. He then goes on to say, that being said, I know my setup is better because I've done it this way in the past. However, the client just doesn't want to listen. He insists that we keep the URL structure the way in which he's set it. And then Michael goes on to ask, my question is, how do I tell the client that he's wrong? And also explain to him that, redirects aren't as damaging as he thinks they are. So as you can see, this is a really shit situation. The client is essentially trying to tell the SEO consultant how to do their job. This is a level of micromanagement, which reminds me of a really funny meme that I saw many years ago, which I'll share on screen with you here. And of course, being micromanaged to that extent is just annoying. Now, this reminds me of a HVAC client that I worked with many years ago who just couldn't help himself. He had to constantly change things, undo work. He even went as far as removing calls to action, phone numbers, tracking scripts. It was just an absolute nightmare. And in the end, I just had enough and I said, that's it. I'm out of here. You can do this yourself. And that's the advice that I would give Michael and everyone else that's listening to this video. If you have a client who's obstructing and resisting and essentially telling you how to do your job, fire their ass. Now that might sound gruff, but you want to invest your time working with clients who want to work with you, not against you. Because if you're in this position of constantly push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, it doesn't make any sense. Now I'm going to share something with you that I have learned having worked with hundreds of SEO consultants over the last several years. And the reason that most SEO consultants put up with this sort of shit is because of lead scarcity. They let clients walk all over them. And I've heard it all. John, I've got this client who hasn't paid his invoice. John, I've got this really annoying client that keeps emailing and calling me every day. John, I've got this client who wants reports once a week. But John, I'm just not in a position to be able to fire clients. I need the money. So you're essentially tolerating bullshit because you don't know when your next lead's coming in. You're putting up with all of this nonsense, which you wouldn't if you knew that you had several qualified leads coming in the next day. So in order to get to the bottom of this problem and solve it permanently, you have to implement predictable and consistent lead gen strategies. That way you won't be putting up with bullshit from annoying clients who are essentially telling you how to do your job. Okay, so before we wrap this up, I'm going to share 2 plugins with you that might be of use. If you find yourself in a situation where you're dealing with clients who like to tinker with things and potentially break or undo your work. The first one is called Simple History. This is a WordPress plugin that you install that keeps a log of changes made to the website. This one can be quite handy because as an administrator, you can log in and you can see what change has been made, who has made the change, when it was made, and so forth. Now that's a great plugin, but it's not as good as the next one called WP Activity Log. This particular plugin is very much the same as Simple History. What I do like about WP Activity Log is that you can actually hide the plugin within the list of plugins. So if you've got a client and they're intent on changing things, because believe it or not, I've had clients that log in and uninstall plugins like Simple History so that I can't see what changes have been made. WP Activity Log goes one better. You can actually hide the plugin in the list of plugins, so you can actually still monitor and track changes within a change log, but they won't be able to see the plugin there. So those are two potentially great tools that you can use to monitor for that sort of behavior. Doesn't necessarily solve the problem. I think you're always best communicating with the client and saying, listen guys, like, you've got to start working with us instead of against us, and have that conversation with the client. And if they continue to interfere and obstruct and get in the way and start making changes on their own, then I would stick to the initial advice that I gave you at the beginning of this video. Fire their ass and move on. Okay, that's it from me. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Hey, if you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to learn more, head over to bringtheseo.com. We provide business development training for SEO consultants wanting to improve their processes, increase profits, and scale to $100,000 a month or more without all the stress and overwhelm.